Hi, welcome to Everyday NLP Bites, Season 4, Episode 6. If you haven't been watching or listening to earlier podcasts, my name is Florence Madden. I'm an NLP trainer and coach based in Cumbria in the north of England. I'm also the author of The Intention Impact Conundrum and the co-author of Everyday NLP. This season, as well as last season, I am in conversation with. And the people I'm in conversation with are people who are trainers, coaches, people who have an interest in NLP, and asking all of them the same question, which is, what's something that's been significant to you in NLP? And maybe more importantly still, how have you been able to use that in your life and work? Today, I'm really thrilled to be accompanied by Sarah Scarratt. I first met Sarah in her other guise as the co-owner of a fabulous campsite in France called Le Moulin Fort in the Loire Valley. Today, though, she's here in her other guise, and that is as a trainer and coach herself. So my question to you, Sarah, is what's something that's been significant to you in NLP, and how have you been able to use that in your life and work? Over to you, Sarah.
Thank you, Florence. Yes, so it's a delight to be here and talking with you today. I've been using NLP in my work and most significantly, I think, in my personal life for about 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
The element that, or one of the parts of NLP that's had the biggest impact is Metaprograms.
Okay, so there are a lot of people watching or listening to this that I suspect maybe haven't had a lot of experience of NLP. So what are Metaprograms?
Well, probably the easiest thing is to start with an example.
Mm-hmm.
It's a way of just noticing how different we perceive things, how differently we might react. So if I was to take 5 chairs and get people to describe the chairs, some people would look for things that were the same. So they'd say, well, there's 5 chairs, they've all got 4 legs, they're in a row, they're facing the same way. Other people would look at the chairs and they would notice things that were different. So they might say, okay, well, there's 5 chairs, some of them are made of wood, some of them are plastic, that one's blue, and they would be noticing the differences.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an example of a metaprogram. So it's simply a line. At one end, we've got differences, one end, we've got similarities, and people might move up and down the line depending on the context, the situation.
Okay, so it's, I suppose, how we take in information or how we perceive the information that we're taking in. As well as, I suppose, those metaprograms could also apply to ourselves as well. So,
yeah, definitely.
Beg your pardon. Tell me about some of the other metaprograms that have been significant to you or that you find yourself using or referencing.
Well, I'm smiling because I'm going to drag my poor husband into this. And again, when you think about it, it seems so obvious. But my husband and I are quite different. I mean, that's why we work together. We're quite complementary. But there are times when our differences make it quite difficult for us to get along or for us to work together. And so there's another metaprogram which I call the details and big picture metaprogram. And again, if I give you an example, if I say to my husband, you know, we really should be talking about our holidays, and this is pre-COVID times.
Yeah.
For me, a holiday, it's a really vague thing. It's somewhere over there, and there's suntan lotion, there's sunshine, there's freshly cut strawberries. You know, it's very beautiful. It's very romantic, my picture of this holiday. And I'll say to my husband, let's talk about our holiday. And straight away he'll go, oh yeah, great. Where are we going to go? When are we going to go? How are we going to get there? And it's like each of his questions are a little dart that pierce my beautiful, yeah. I know you're laughing. I'm sure that, you know, anybody listening to this will be having a similar situation. As he starts asking me these questions, I'm thinking, oh God, yeah, we'll have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, drive to the airport, get through security, check in baggage, the flight, the food. My daughter's always sick on an aeroplane, and little by little, this beautiful holiday bubble is burst as I come back. But the thing is, the great things with metaprograms is I need him.
Yeah.
Because I need those details. If I just keep thinking about a holiday and the big picture, we won't actually get there. So I need him to say, yeah, okay, so how are we going to get there? When? So we've worked it out now. I'll give him sort of some big guidelines. he'll go off and look for a couple of options, come back with all the details, and then I'll pick one of them. So this is where the metaprograms are really useful, because they help us to recognize our different ways of doing things, accept them, and then find ways of working together.
Yeah, a lot of what you said to me seems, whether it was within a relationship or within a team at work, it's about recognizing the value of each and respecting that. And I suppose with that comes some tolerance as well. So
yeah, it's working with it. I've used it as well in a school. I did some English teaching, and so again, there's another meta program which you'll know of, the Towards Away From program. And by talking to the kids and getting them to notice how their system works, it really helped with motivating them to get on with their schoolwork and to do their homework. So some kids are motivated by a goal. They're drawn to getting good marks, succeeding, doing well, and other kids are motivated from sort of a punishment or a threat. So they would do their homework because they were scared of detention. So again, it's just noticing people's ways of being and then working with them to be more efficient or more to collaborate more easily.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm hearing you say, there's again kind of two sides to that. It's noticing someone's patterns and, if you like, speaking their language. What's the thing that's going to appeal to them, and also helping people to notice their own patterns, because sometimes we're just so close to it we don't necessarily see it ourselves. But I suppose that helps people to understand themselves or motivate themselves more appropriately as well.
Yeah.
And are there any others? I know there's, I think, allegedly 66 of these. I know you're not going to go into all of them today, and I certainly couldn't name 66. But are there any others that particularly come into your life and work that occur to you?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about, we quite often talk about the glass being half full, half empty. It's the same sort of thing, isn't it? It's just noticing that there's different ways of doing things. There's another one that I quite like, and it's the need to, should, ought to type of mechanism, as opposed to the possibilities. And again, my poor husband, he's very much in the need to. I need to do this, I need to do that, which works quite well for me, because I can say to him, oh, you need to take the bins out, and he'll do it, because he likes it when he needs to do things. But I'm more of a possibilities. And so, and this is something that I've only noticed quite recently. If we take, for an example, a Sunday morning, and we'll wake up, and for me it's this pleasure that the day is stretching out in front of us, and we've got all these possibilities of all the things that we could do or we might like to do, it's just this beautiful, open, wide possibility. But if I say to my husband, what would you like to do, he can't answer, because he needs to do things, and all the things that should be done, and opening up that field of possibility for him is actually, it is not a pleasure, it's not a delight. And so I need to find a way that I can talk to him to find out what he would like to do, but without creating that sort of, oh, I don't know what I'd like to do, because he's sort of directed what he needs to do. And then conversely, when somebody says to me, oh, you need to do that, yeah, I can hear you laughing, so I'm guessing that you might be in a similar situation. When somebody says you need to do that, it makes me feel like a tiger in a cage. And I can sometimes have quite a strong reaction. And this is where NLP sort of links with some of the other work that I do. So I'm a clean language facilitator and systemic modeling facilitator. But with clean language, we quite often work with metaphor. And so if I say to you, I feel like a tiger in a cage, you get an idea of what I might be feeling. You don't know what I'm feeling, but by using the metaphor tiger in a cage, you sort of know. And when I'm feeling like a tiger, I want to roar, or there's quite a lot of roar. If I say to my husband, or the people in my family, just watch out, I'm feeling like a tiger, they understand.
Yeah.
They know where that's coming from, and it's okay. That's just that's mummy's way of doing things. And so I suppose it's the meta programs, and then linked in with the clean language, it's creating a common language where
Yeah.
we can say to each other, just right now I'm feeling like a tiger, and think, oh, okay, she's doing her tiger thing. What do I need to do? Well, I need to not poke her and make her be any more cross. I'll just go away, do all these other things that I need to do, and leave her until she sorts herself out. So yeah, the meta programs, they're just ways of sorting, noticing, identifying patterns, and then recognizing what needs to happen for us to be able to work together without any criticism or judgment.
Yeah, I'm curious, just excuse me. I'm curious, you were talking earlier about your holiday and your big picture and John is detail. Are you always big picture?
Well, no, that's the funny thing. When my daughter, who's 19, came home one day and said, Mum, I've been thinking I'd like to go traveling. And I noticed that I was started to ask her those piercing bubble kind of questions. So I was trying to be really understanding. I mean, inside I was thinking, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But I was going, oh, okay. And when would you like to go traveling? And where would you go? And who would you go with? And how would you get there? And I became aware that these questions that were genuine, curious, questions aimed to help turn her dream into a reality were in fact doing the same thing, and they were piercing her bubble. So yeah, it's also noticing when we might be in particular situations, and how we change, how we slide up and down those programs.
Yeah. So I guess what you're saying is, okay, you have tendencies and you have preferences, but in different circumstances, you might you might have a different preference depending on the circumstance.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Sarah, people may be curious to find out more about you and what you do, and you mentioned about clean language and systemic modelling. So do you have a website and an email that people can contact you on?
Yep, so it's sarahscarrattcoaching.com. And if you click on there, you'll find lots of information about the various things that are happening, various things I do, and the way to contact me. And I'm also on Facebook and LinkedIn.
Okay, lovely. This information will also be on the paragraph that goes with this podcast. And if all else fails, you can contact Sarah through me as well. So it just remains for me to thank Sarah very much for sharing, well, a bit of an insight into her own personal life and how she's used Metaprograms there. And to thank all of you for watching and listening. So I hope you'll join me next week for another In Conversation With. Thank you to you, and thank you to Sarah, and bye for now.